Chris here from Vegan Warrior Academy, and I am super excited today to bring on a dear friend to talk to her a little bit about what she is doing to help more vegans find love. And Corrine, welcome. Very happy to have you here. And to start things off, I want you to kind of just go into your story a little bit. What is Find Veg Love, and why did you decide to start this venture in 2017?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. So although I launched Find Veg Love in 2017, I actually started doing speed dating events back in 2011, believe it or not. The first event was actually in Berkeley, California. That's where I was living at the time. And basically my friends just told me that they couldn't find any vegan men. And I thought, how is that possible? Being in the San Francisco Bay Area, there's tons of vegans. I'm going to find them. So I didn't really know what I was doing. I had a background in event planning, but I had never done a speed dating event in my life before. So it was like really stressful, but it ended up being like super, super fun. I had over 40 people, and I actually have a couple who met at that very first event, and they ended up getting married a few years later. So it was super exciting. So because I got such an amazing reception, I ended up just doing these events like every 3 months or so on the side, just for the fun of it, really, because I was planning a bunch of other huge vegan events like vegan festivals and conferences and all kinds of stuff. And that was just something small I did on the side. So fast forward to a few years later, I moved back to Canada in Ottawa, which is where I'm originally from. And I thought, okay, what's going to be my next big project? I can't really do these big, huge vegan events because where I live, it's not a huge vegan community. So I just came up with the idea of doing these speed dating events across North America. So just a wild idea that I had one day, and it's been a crazy ride. The first year that we launched, we did 10 events in 5 days. They were like super, super fun. And then the second year, I did 20 events in 5 days. That was insane. Now this year, my events start on February 6th and go all the way to the 13th. I have 17 on the books. My goal was 20. I got pretty close. So 17 events, all happening across North America.
Wow, that's quite the commitment in such a short time frame there, but it sounds like a great idea because I know, of course, we all are looking for love. We're looking to find a partner. And so with these events, how do they work? What type of events are they? Is it strictly speed dating? And what could someone expect going into one of these events?
Yeah, so originally I just started off with the speed dating events, and then a few people had told me, well, speed dating, that sounds scary, that I don't want to do that. Why don't you try a mixer? So I was like, okay, I'll try the mixer events and see how it is. And I launched them across, I did maybe 10 all across North America again. And they all had different themes. So some of them were like at a brewery. So you got a tour of the brewery, and you got tastings, and it was just like a social event, right? And it was a different kind of thing in every city. And what was interesting was that the consensus was that people actually preferred the speed dating events because they didn't have to, it wasn't like in a bar setting where you're having to approach someone. You're there at the speed dating event, and it's a structure, and everyone is following the structure. So it's great for people who are introverted and don't really like having to approach people and strike up a conversation. I mean, you are doing that because you're seated in front of the person and you're talking to them, but everyone is doing the same thing. So how it works is, and because I've been doing these events for a very long time, I really have like what I think is a winning formula that people really enjoy. And it's kind of a mix. So you show up, and the first 20 minutes or so is mingling. So that is, everyone is just talking to each other to kind of break the ice, start to get more comfortable. And then the host goes over all the instructions of how the event works. And then everybody is seated, and you have 5 minutes to talk to the person across from you. After the 5 minutes is over, you move on to the next person, and so on. We do a break halfway through because it does get to be really exhausting to talk to so many people. So we do a nice little break in the middle, and then the speed dating resumes. And then at the end, everyone is invited to stick around. And sometimes, actually, oftentimes, what I've personally observed from hosting these events is that people will either stay at that venue depending on the hours or go somewhere else all as a group for dinner, which is amazing. So what's happening with these events is that you're meeting potential, romantic partners, but you're also making friends in the process. And that's all part of the magic. I love hosting these events because I get to see all of this happen. And it's amazing to be the person responsible for creating a platform where people can sit down, be in the same room, in a room full of like-minded people. They're all vegetarian, or vegan, and you can't really get that anywhere else. I mean, sure, you can go to a bar, to a concert, and meet other people, but if you're serious about finding that veg partner, and you've tried, a lot of people have tried the online dating and it has not worked for them. And that's because the pool of single vegetarian vegan population is so small, right? Mm-hmm. So, and even the events range from 20 to 30 people. It's hard. I put a lot of work and effort into getting that amount of people. And it's just, it's magical. So I really believe in creating these opportunities for people to meet in person, to get out of their comfort zone, to get away from their computer and just out in the real life connecting with people. And I'm all about connection and meeting new people. And again, it's the fact that you're in a room full of vegetarians and vegans. I recently found out actually that there's a matchmaking company and in Toronto, and they charge $500 to go on one date.
Wow.
With someone, which is insane, right? So with my events, you pay anywhere from $30 to $40, and you get to meet between 10 and 15 vegetarians and vegans. So to me, that value is just there. And again, you can't find anything else like it. So, and in terms of the matching, how it works is we have this software. So you can use your phone at the event if you want, or you can just use a piece of paper, and essentially you check off the names of the people that you're interested in meeting with. And if they are also interested in you, they do the same, and then it's a match. But what's awesome is that you don't find that out until after the event. So there's no pressure, there's no rejection, there's no exchanging of contact information at the event itself. It all happens after. So you go home after the event, or right at the event, you submit your match form whenever you want. Everyone has to submit it by midnight, and then at midnight you log in and you see who you were matched with.
Wow, that sounds like a wonderful structure that you have planned out there, and obviously very well thought through, considering you have done a lot of these events before. And I'm sure there's always tweaks being made and things like that. And out of curiosity, are these events open to the LGBTQ community as well?
So I have, for the last 2 years, been trying to do specific events for the LGBTQ community, because love is love, and I want to help everyone find love. And some of my dear friends are vegan and part of that community, and so they've asked me also to help them. And like I said, I'm all about bringing people together. And unfortunately, at this point, there just are not enough, because like I talked about before, that super small pool. Well, the pool of LGBTQ single and vegetarian and vegan is even smaller, right? So I have tried in major cities, Seattle, Vancouver, Toronto, San Francisco, New York, Brooklyn, and unfortunately, I just was not able to get the numbers that I needed. I only sold maybe a handful of tickets. And for me, I have really high integrity with my events, and I will not run an event unless it reaches my minimum numbers, because I want everyone to get their money's worth and to have a good experience. So I would never run an event with just 5 people. And with that being said, it's the same thing for the hetero events. I would never run an event where there would be 10 women signed up and only 3 men. I would reschedule, because again, for me, it's really important to deliver the high quality events. And I have had to reschedule in the past in some cities where I just have not been able to. So it happens.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, again, the vegan community is still very small compared to the world. And so I can imagine finding people in both communities, whether it's you're heterosexual or you're part of the LGBTQ community, and then it's narrowing down that niche even more to obviously the vegan theme. And so I can see that being a challenge. And I've heard also that, there are maybe more women in the vegan community than there are actually men as well. So from a heterosexual standpoint too, that could be difficult planning those out. Considering the numbers are probably more in favor of the women.
Well, I mean, a lot of people do have that perception. And that's another thing that I find so fascinating with my events, is that in some cities, I'll have some women telling me, oh, there's no vegan men in the city. And then they come out of the woodwork. So they're there. And I mean, I've done events in over 100 cities in the last couple of years, and I've been able to successfully find those vegetarian and vegan men. So that, I always see it as a challenge, and I'm so proud of myself when I can actually deliver on it. But they are out there. That's the thing. Like I said, I only run events where I have equal numbers or pretty close to it. And I've done, I can't remember how many events now, but yeah, over 100 cities. And yeah, I mean, I have been able to successfully do it. So they are out there. They're just very hard to find sometimes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, so you did share a success story in the beginning from one of your San Francisco events that a couple did find each other and get married and all of that. And so do you have any other success stories from your events, and how is this impacting the vegan community overall?
Yes, I actually have 2 couples that got married. So that was really exciting. And I have many couples that have formed long-term relationships. And I have a whole section on my website actually dedicated to these success stories and highlighting their stories. And in fact, in a couple of days, I'm also going to be doing an interview with one of those couples. So I'm really, really excited. I know there's tons more out there of success stories, and I want to hear from you. So if you have gone to one of my events and you met someone, please, share your story with me. I love hearing these stories, because the stories are what keep me going, and all the positive, all the positive things that come out from these events. So I hear from a lot of people that didn't necessarily meet someone, but they met, a friend that they ended up being best friends with. And even myself throughout this process, I've met friends that I'm still friends with years later. So there's just all kinds of amazing things that truly come out of these events.
That's wonderful. That's great to hear. And so what is, the vision moving forward here with your Find Veg Love and these events? Where do you see this all going?
Yeah, so we used to actually be called Veg Speed Date, and we rebranded last year to Find Veg Love. And that's because it was always my vision from the start to not only be doing these events, but really to become the go-to source for all things related to vegan relationships and dating. So on my website, there's a section dedicated to videos, and it features a number of different dating experts. They're all vegetarian and vegan, all different topics. And so again, I really want to become that go-to source for all things related to dating and relationships. So it's really exciting because there's nobody else out there doing this right now. So there really is a need for it. So right now I'm working with a veg dating coach. So she's she provides dating advice. And I recently added a life coach who is Ronnie, actually. So he's the new Find Veg Love life coach. He's amazing. But yeah, definitely, if anybody wants to get any dating advice, check out the video section on the findveglove.com website. And I'm just going to be adding more resources, more dating resources, more blog articles. So that's kind of the vision that I see moving forward. And eventually I would really like to start offering different types of events as well for veg singles. So I tried the mixer events before. didn't quite work out so well, but I do have other ideas in terms of like workshops on, on dating. And later today, actually, I'm going to be doing a live interview with the founder of Vegan Wear. So he's going to be giving tips on like for the men on how to dress for appropriately for a speed dating event and for dates and so on. So yeah, I have lots of ideas up my sleeve. So definitely stay tuned.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate everything that you're doing for the vegan community. I know, of course, there's so many aspects and there's so many subgroups and so many things happening within the community. It's only growing. The numbers are growing exponentially every single year. And so I really see this being quite the success over time. Sometimes it just takes a little while to catch on, but I'm glad that, you're able to share some wonderful success stories and, just wish you the best of luck with everything that you're doing and look forward to just seeing where everything goes.
Thank you so much. So if anybody wants more information, you can go to findveglove.com. Like I said, I have 17 events coming up in February all across North America. I have a couple of events confirmed for March, but of course I'm crazy busy right now, so I've been focusing all on February, but I will be adding more events. You can also sign up for the newsletter to find out about events when they come to your city. And I also have a Facebook group, if you're on Facebook, called Find Veg Love, and it's a great place to connect with other veg singles. And I do contests there and all kinds of fun stuff. So yeah, definitely check it out. And if you have any questions at all about the events, just send me an email. I'm there as a resource for you as well to help you and to kind of give you that extra little push if you need it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for everything. And again, can't wait to see where this all goes.
Awesome. Thank you so much.